Hello everybody and welcome to the first part of section 8, which is all about using the Python web framework Flask to create a website. So first of all, we need to prepare our server in order to actually make it accessible via the web. So by default, we could access our IP address. So if you didn't already know, as we've already covered in this tutorial series, a website like google.com, that google.com is the domain name, and the domain name actually just points to the IP address for google.com. So we could do the same thing. Like, what if we went to visit our IP address? Well, mine is 104.131.95.72, so let's try to visit that. And turns out we can't actually visit it. There's nothing here, okay? And the reason why is because our website, or server, is not set up yet to be a website. So the first thing that we want to go ahead and do is set it up. So in order to do that, we are going to want Apache 2, MySQL client, and MySQL server. If you've been following along, then we already have MySQL client and MySQL server. So the next thing that we want is really just first Apache 2. So let's do a sudo apt-get install Apache 2. And we'll go ahead and hit yes there. And we'll wait for that to install. Okay, and once you have that all set, basically if you're concerned, Apache is the web server. Okay, so Apache is kind of the back end for a lot of websites. There are others, but Apache is definitely like the most popular. So the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we want to have libapache mod WSGI, because Flask uses an WSGI in the backend to kind of power the website. So we're going to go ahead and do a sudo apt-get install libapache 2-mod WSGI. Hit enter there, and we'll get that installed next as well. And that will restart our web server. And then the next thing that we want to do is to enable WSGI. So we'll do sudo a2nmod WSGI. And it says it's already enabled, so that's good. And then now what we want to do is we want to decide where we want to stuff basically all of our web documents. Generally, people put them in /var/www. So we're going to go ahead and follow that. And we're going to go cd var www. Go ahead and hit enter there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a directory, and we're going to call this directory Flask app. You could call it anything you want, but we'll call it Flask app because, again, this is kind of a standard that people use for defining things, at least in tutorials. So we'll go sudo mkdir for make directory, and we're going to call this directory Flask app. We're going to change Flask. You can change every instance of this Flask app to whatever you want. Just make sure you remember to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have some trouble later on. So we'll make the directory for Flask app, and then we're going to cd for change directory into Flask app. And again, we're going to make a sudo make dir Flask app again. And then we'll go ahead and cd into that again. So you should have Flask app and a Flask app, okay? So Flask appception. And the next thing that we want to do is we want to make a couple of directories. First, we want to have a static directory. So we'll just do sudo make dir static. And then we're going to do sudo mkdir templates. So now if we do ls, we should see that we have two empty directories for now, static and templates. What static is going to be is static is where we put static files, and static can be accessed by pretty much everyone going to your website. So an example of a Flask-based website is pythonprogramming.net, so we'll head there. And so this is that, and then if we were to go to /static, we hit that, I am able to access that. So anything you put into static, people are going to be able to see. But like the actual website code that you write, people won't be able to see it if it's not in static. So that's what the static directory is for. It's like this unprotected directory. So anytime you have like images or your style sheets will go in here, downloads, all this stuff that is stuff that you want to be public information, basically, that goes into static. And then you have another directory, and that's the templates. Inside templates goes all of your HTML files, okay? So this will be basically all of the stuff that like structure of your web page, which is kind of what we've covered before. And it's like inside templates, you'll have an HTML template that has the code for your home page or the code for your about page and all of that. But templates is not a page that anybody can access. So here we are on static. If we try to visit templates, I have a templates directory on this server, the Python program as my website. So I know I have a templates there, but people cannot access it, right? This responds with a 404 with a very well-drawn snake, if I do say so myself. So just keep that in mind. What you have in static, people can see, but otherwise, like your website source code, people cannot see that by default. So we have static and templates, and now we want to go ahead and make basically the main file for our entire application, and that's going to be an init file. So we're going to go sudo nano underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. And then in here, this is where we have the initialization script for our Flask application. So you actually could put every bit of your website code into this file, or you can have this file point to a bunch of other sub-files, but all of your URL paths will have to be in here. Now, if that doesn't mean much to you right now, that's okay, because this might be your first time even thinking about Flask or even in web development, so don't worry. Now, we're going to have this script go from Flask. We're going to import Flask with a capital F, and then we define our app. We're going to say app equals capital F Flask, and then underscore underscore name underscore underscore, and that's just the name of our app. Okay, so underscore underscore name. Remember, if name equals main. Okay, so that's how we're all that's doing there. And then we can define a home page. So we're going to say at app.root, and then we'll just have the simple slash there. That just means if we're on a page that is just slash, so if you just go to the website basically ends in a slash. So this will be the home page. This will be, you know, the domain without anything added to it. So google.com, right? That would be like this, okay? So that'll be the decorator that we use. I'll explain decorators probably in the next tutorial, so we'll get to that. We just want to finish this script first. So then we'll define the function here, and then our function will be homepage, empty parameters, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We want this to return, and we'll just have it return a string for now. And we'll have the string say hello world, okay? And after that, we're just going to have the question if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals underscore underscore main underscore underscore. If that's the case, then we want to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4 app dot run empty parameters. Once you're done there, go ahead and do Control X to save. Yes. And where do we want to save it? We want to save it to the exact same file. So basically what we have here is a page that once we have finished setting up everything and we go to our domain or our IP address or domain name, if you set up a domain to be tied to this IP address, when you go to that, you'll be able to see this string hello world. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. Good to go. And we can ls here and make sure it's there, but yep, there it is. So that's it for now. We've got the init.py at least set up. That's our website's code basically, but we still have some back-end stuff that we need to do first, so we'll be doing that. So that's it for this first part. Stay tuned to the next part, and thanks for watching.